Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, November 29th, 2019. I hope your Thanksgiving was magical. I got a chance to travel down to Mississippi, Stark Vegas to be exact, and call the Egg Bowl. It was electrifying. Came down to a piss and then a missed kick. It was a blast to be down there. Thanks for the hospitality, both to Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Got a chance to see Rich Rodriguez for the first time in a long time, my coach in college. And I'll tell you what, that Elijah Moore kid, who's the wide receiver for Ole Miss, that scored the touchdown to tie it with 4 seconds left on the clock, one of their biggest named guys on the offensive side of the ball. Then he goes down in honor of DK Metcalf, takes a dog-like piss on the field with 4 seconds left, down one, needing the extra point, 15-yard penalty. Luke Logan goes on to miss it. I'm going to tell you what, that kid is probably transferring either today or tomorrow with what Rich Rodriguez is going to do to him. Whenever we played at Mississippi State, we had a couple personal fouls. We won like 41-14 or something like that. We won by a lot. After the game, Rich Rod shut the doors and chewed us out because, A, we didn't win with enough class, dignity, and by enough. That Elijah Moore kid, I couldn't even fathom what Rich Rod told him last night. I couldn't even fathom what his relationship with Coach Rod is going to be like going forward. But I'll tell you what, you can say a lot of things about Coach Rod, okay? And a lot of things have been said about him by me and many of other people about how, he's the most intense human being I've ever been around in my entire life. He does not play that type of extracurricular after the whistle type garbage. That is just not his thing. He's an old school guy. Hey, let's beat the hell out of him. I'll beat the hell out of you in practice. We're going to run. We're going to go, but it's going to be in between the whistles. So that Elijah Moore kid, rest in peace to his feelings. Because Rich Rod is not going to let that sleep. I don't even know if I was a foot and a half away from Rich Rodriguez last night in that press booth where we were calling the game. The coach's booth was directly next to us. I mean, one pane of glass to Rich Rodriguez. That Elijah Moore kid did not make Rich Rod happy. I am very scared. I think that kid is going to get potentially run out of the program. With that being said, it was great to catch up with him before the game. We had a chat as if we were old friends. A lot of the Ole Miss players came over to me, talked about how much they watched my stories about Rich Rod because they're right in the middle of it right now. I asked him, I said, have you gotten soft? Because he had to take a year off. There was some things that happened in Arizona. He's older now. I said, have you gotten soft? He said, Pat, I try to reflect and try to become a better football coach, and I try to become a better person, but I only know one way to coach. So those Ole Miss kids are right in the middle of what I was in college. So I appreciate that. We won a lot of games with him. I assume he's going to win a lot of games going forward. I'd assume he's get a head coaching gig somewhere in the near future. Good luck to him, and good luck to Elijah Moore. And that Luke Logan kid, this too shall pass, bub. It was a tough situation. I don't know how to tell you this, but I think the entire world, once that thing got backed up 15 yards, knew what was going to happen. The universe was basically telling you had no shot. Now, granted, you make that kick, you help out Elijah Moore a lot and your teammate, which probably hurts him even more, and it's a rivalry game. Just know that I've been there. If you've got any death threats, I've gotten those too. This too shall pass, my friend. Just go ahead and kick the hell out of footballs and move on. Now, speaking of moving on, a lot of NFL yesterday. A lot of things happened. The Detroit Lions were off and running with the plow until their stadium said, no more power, no more electricity. Let's hand this thing over to Mitchell Trubisky, basically. Bear down. Yep. And the Saints obviously get the big win, even though Young Ho Koo goes bonkers in the onside kick world. Successfully kicks 3 onside kicks, only 2 counted because you got a little bit of a penalty with the refs mess up. Obviously, it's Alberto Riveron gang. That's what's going to happen. Nice little 2-hopper, too, to kind of get the awkward hop so that people don't know if they have to play it. It's like an infielder. Whenever that ball is coming, is it going to bounce? Is it going to hit you in the chest? Is it going to bounce up and hit you in the face? What are you going to do? I think they could have attacked it a little bit more, but instead, Young Ho Koo and the Falcons had a shot there. Misses a couple kicks, not great. yanks a couple. We've all been there. But in the end, all we're going to remember is the young ho making things happen at the end for the onside kick and Matt Ryan getting stiff-armed through the earth. They're going to blow up the Atlanta Falcons organization, I think, after this season. I think Quinn's gone. Ryan's going to be gone. That whole place is going to get a rebuild in that brand-new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So shout out to the Saints getting a win, winning their division on Thanksgiving. Drew Brees, by the way, wouldn't eat the turkey before the interview. Had too much class to speak on television with turkey in his mouth. I respect that. I respect that a lot. Good for them. Keep it moving. Michael Thomas, still a baller. Now, another team that's going to get blown up after the season. 1,000% chance that Jerry Jones is firing Jason Garrett after the season. And we had a Dallas Cowboys beat writer for The Athletic come on, and he said there's like 99.9% chance that Dak Prescott is the quarterback going forward. If Dak Prescott is going to continue to want $40 million a year, or whatever he's asking for, from that Good Morning Football interview that we heard from Jerry Jones to what happened yesterday in Jerry World on Thanksgiving with the world watching, losing to the Buffalo Bills, which, by the way, good team. And anytime you throw out sneaky good or sneaky fast, normally that means, okay, Caucasian guy doing something. That Bills team, sneaky good team.
They are.
Now, granted, I bet the money line on them. So did Ty. We got them at like plus 250 or something like that. Had a big day yesterday on FanDuel because their defense is very good. And Josh Allen is a game manager who can make big plays happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, he was making throws yesterday. And then if you get pressure on him, he's so big, and he's actually very, very athletic.
And very, very tough.
Yeah, he'll make you pay.
He is the perfect quarterback, I feel like, for Buffalo, right? Yeah. The whole thing about him having big hands was a massively hilarious stat coming out of college. But in Buffalo, it's a big deal because the weather's terrible, right? So this guy has big hands. He can hang on to the ball. He's athletic. He's tough. I assume he's going to get better and better as a passer. He's almost like the perfect fit, and he's a bro. So the Bills Mafia would have to love that, I'd assume. So it's good for the Buffalo Bills getting that win. And on the other side of it, Jerry Jones, Thanksgiving, Jerry World, in the house that he built with his own pockets, with his team, still in contention of everything in front of them if they really want it. The NFC East is a big question mark. They can still go get it. And they just lay an egg. I mean, just a complete egg. And they're 0-6 against teams that have a good record and 6-0 against teams that have terrible records. So maybe that's indicative of the team that they have, that it's an overhyped team, which I think every single year the Dallas Cowboys are overhyped. Even if they're good, they're somehow still overhyped because they're America's team. But the answers that he was giving to those questions, now's not the time. Now, everything I do for the next month is going to be about getting this team to the Super Bowl. He is still selling the fact that he believes, and he said most of the time I would say you're smoking something, but I'm not smoking anything. This is real because I know the room. He truly believes, and I think the leader of your ship should be saying that there's still a way to guide through these seas and make it to the success land. But for me, this feels like there's about 100% chance that Jason Garrett's getting fired after this season. And I'm not 100% sold that Jerry Jones is giving Dak Prescott that massive contract. On Good Morning Football, he said, let's just win some games. And then they lose the next game. And if they go on to continue to lose here and they end up 8-8 or something like that, I mean, I don't know how Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones are going to meet and agree on a world-breaking contract. I just don't think that's going to happen, especially with the number of quarterbacks that are potentially going to be either up for grabs after this year or on the trading block or coming out of college or anything like that. I understand that Dallas loves Dak Prescott, and I understand that Cowboys fans love Dak Prescott. But I'm just saying, from the words that Jerry Jones is saying, it's hard to have 100% faith in the fact that he's going to pay Dak and that Jason Garrett's going to be there next year. I think all Cowboys fans agree, like, hey, now's the time to get rid of Jason Garrett. And I think it's only a matter of time before you say, is Dak Prescott going to be the guy that's going to eat up 40% of our salary cap? And is that going to continue to be our style of just not winning a lot of games, being a hype machine, and not really being relevant in any real conversation? Now, Jerry Jones thinks they can turn this whole ship around and go on and win this thing. I think you're smoking something. But smoking on optimism isn't a bad thing, especially when you're the boss. But for me, I don't know who's going to be the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I hope it's somebody exciting, electrifying, because Jerry Jones will put his ass on national television every single week.
Oh, Rich Rod.
I'll tell you what. I never thought of it. But then everybody, whenever I was doing this spread option in Glenville State College down there in West Virginia, everybody said, well, this ain't going to work in D1 football. And then whenever we did it down in Tulane and Clemson and in West Virginia, everybody said, well, this won't work in the SEC. Now I'm at Ole Miss. I put up 614 yards against LSU. Everybody said, well, this won't work in the NFL. And now I'm watching Lamar Jackson do everything that we've been doing for a long time. He's dominating. So I wouldn't put that out as a thought, but I don't know if now's the time for me to go there.
If you want electric and can handle the star and the cameras, you might be looking for a new co-host on Get Up on Monday mornings. Rex Ryan.
Oh, I didn't even think about old Sexy Rexy getting that job down there in Dallas. Has he said anything disparaging about Jerry Jones on TV?
Not that I know of.
No, honestly,
I think Jerry would respect it. That's your job.
And by the way, Rex Ryan, hey, he got the Jets to the AFC Championship game with the Sanchez, Mark Sanchez. Now, no offense to Mark Sanchez, please. No offense to Mark Sanchez. I think he's a good guy. I mean, maybe a little offensive. But I think by all accounts, he's not a top 10 quarterback in the history of the game. So to be able to have success like he was able to have, and listening to him talk about football, by the way. Now, granted, on Get Up, he has to turn it up a little bit and be entertaining, which he is entertaining as hell. Just like in his press conferences as a head coach, he was entertaining as hell. But whenever you hear him start talking about the defenses and this and that in the production meeting that could never make it to air because it's like a 10-minute answer, it's incredible what he knows and what he's forgotten about football coming from that Buddy Ryan family. That would be awesome to have Sexy Rexy down there in the Big D. For personal reasons, we'd have access down there, which would be great for me. And also, I would like the Dallas Cowboys to be entertaining on and off the field, and that would definitely make that happen. A lot of people talking about Lincoln Riley, taking him out of Oklahoma, getting him into the NFL game, especially with Cliff Kingsbury seeing a little bit of success now in the NFL, with Lamar Jackson having success in the NFL. Maybe he brings in Jalen Hurts right there, straight into Dallas Cowboys. Now, granted, I've seen Jalen Hurts make some terrible decisions. Terrible decisions, but he's also come back from big deficits. He's shown a lot of grit, a lot of warrior in him. Could be a great football player going forward. I think that would be fun to have old Lincoln Riley, Rex Ryan down there.
I think before yesterday, after Jerry was leaving the locker room and he was like crying, and you could see that he was just like physically, mentally, and emotionally beat. I would have thought that they would have just got like Chris Richard, their D coordinator. It would have been like the same thing. He gives him the job and he kind of can still puppeteer him. But I think after this, he realizes, like, we need a complete culture change. Like, they do need a splash hire like Lincoln Riley or something like that.
Yeah, I think so, too. But everybody says that if you're going to coach for the Cowboys, you're just answering to Jerry Jones, right? That's what everybody said about Jason Garrett. The reason why he has his job so long is because he'll just do whatever Jerry does. I don't know if Rex Ryan's going to be like that.
I don't think so.
I think it would be tough for him, right?
Yeah.
He's a big personality.
Yeah, big personality. But, by the way, Jerry is a promoter. He is a salesman. You get a coach in there who has an electrifying personality. I mean, that could be great for him.
Also, the way that they're built right now, you have to think that they're going to go after an offensive guy. I mean, they like that. They're trying to score so many points. Like, the offense is the focal point of their team. Like, you'd think that they would get someone like Lincoln
What about
Riley.
Urban Meyer? Would he go pro?
I don't know if his heart could handle
He said
it.
the Dallas. He said the Dallas job does intrigue him multiple times.
Urban Meyer said that?
Yep.
This Urban Meyer guy is the best, dude. Wins at Utah. Let me get out of here. Wins at Florida.
Heartfelt story.
Let me get out of here. Wins at Ohio State. I think I'm done. Let me go on Fox real quick, talk a little television, and then just pitch all these jobs that I could potentially want. You know, Notre Dame would be fun. USC, I'd love to stay in L.A. Oh, the Dallas Cowboys would love to coach that team. And he just sits back, talks a little football on the weekends, and then potentially gets a job anywhere he wants it. Good for Urban Meyer. That guy's cracked the code in this whole football world. I don't know who it's going to be that's going to end up as the Dallas Cowboys head coach, but we got a chance to talk to Michael Lombardi on the other side of the break. It is 10:14 here on this Friday, November 29th. Dallas Cowboys are dead. Dead. Falcons, dead. Lions, dead. Bears, get a win. Dead.
Nope.
We'll be back on the other side. You listen to the Pat McAfee Show. Third time. Show, it is 10:19 here on this beautiful Friday, November 29th, 2019. Hope you had the best Thanksgiving in the history of Thanksgivings. I'm about to have mine here in about 3 hours. Can't wait. The ladies been cooking pies. We got a smoked turkey, I believe.
Nice. I did that one here. It's delicious.
Honey baked ham, the whole thing. We're about to go in, as they say. I believe now we're being joined by a man who's been in all aspects of the football, scouting, GMing, coaching, you name it, and the gambling world. You can catch him on VSiN in the podcast, the GM Shuffle. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now for his weekly appearance, Michael Lombardi.
Happy Thanksgiving, Pat.
What's the deal? No FaceTime after Thanksgiving? What happened here? Why are we doing?
I'm so fat. I didn't want to just take up the entire. I ate an entire village yesterday, so I don't want to take up all the camera. I don't want to get people upset. So it's when you carve out like I did, it's hard.
Hey, diet starts Monday. No big deal. We would have felt for you. Speaking of feeling for somebody, Jerry Jones right now was emotional after coming out of that locker room. He said now is not the time. I led off the show with saying there is 1,000% chance that Jason Garrett's getting fired this offseason. Do you see it the same way I see it?
I think so. I really do. I think, look, Jason's had his opportunity, and Jerry has supported him beyond belief. And when Jerry pulled the I am the GM card, that's the dangerous card to pull. Look, let's face it. I keep asking, if Jason left at halftime, would anybody notice?
No. No.
Would anybody notice? If he just decided to say, you know what, I hear there's a sale over at the Walmart across the street. Maybe I should check it out, would anybody know? I have a hard time understanding the value that he brings to the table. And I'm not being sarcastic here, is that when you make $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year, you have to bring expertise to the table. And I haven't seen it in his time there. That's why I nicknamed him the Clapper, because all I see him do is clap.
Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off. You're fired. Okay, he said, now is not the time for me to do that. Anytime you hear an owner, GM say that, that means that he's sick of being asked about it. That means that he has thought about doing it. What do you mean? What do you think that means as a guy who was a former general manager of an NFL team?
That means unless Jason goes to the Super Bowl, he's fired. That's a lock. Your 1,000% is dead on. Unless he goes to the Super Bowl, he's fired. He's already made up his mind. He's tired of going to the stadium on Sundays and knowing he's at a disadvantage, no matter how much talent he has. And this is really the issue here. Is at some point, in the NFL, because we moved from a game that went from checkers, which was the quarterback called all the plays, to chess, to where we have everybody, calling, changing the plays at the line, moving. You have to gain an advantage by some way with your head coach. And if you don't do that, you can't out-talent people. I worked for Al Davis for 10 years, and he truly believed he could out-talent teams. And it worked for him in the 60s. It worked for him in the 70s. But it doesn't work today because football's a game of chess. And if you're not playing the highest level of chess with a grandmaster chess player, you're going to lose.
I've always been a checkers guy. I've been just what's in front of me, I'm going to try to hop it, king me, get me out of here. I appreciate that. It's a different person that has to be a head coach in the NFL. It also is a different person that has to be a quarterback in the NFL. Do you see any chance of Jerry Jones investing $30, $40 million a year into a guy named Dak Prescott?
I think what Jerry's going to do is, and this is just all instinct on my part, I think Jerry's going to try to hire himself a guy who can coach the quarterback and help him make that decision and basically help him bring someone in. Is it Josh McDaniels? It could be. And he started talking about the Patriots the other day, and it was in glowing terms. And Jerry, as Bill Parcells once said about Jerry Jones, he could talk a cat off the top of a fish truck. He's really smooth with his words, and so I think that, he knows what he's talking about, and I think he wants to bring someone in to run the offense and then feel like, okay, I'm good on defense. Let me get somebody to come in here and bring out the most in my talent. So I think that decision would be weighted. I do think he's going to pay him, though. I do think he will pay him because that's just Jerry's style.
He said on Good Morning Football the other morning, let's just win some games. My hand does not cramp up when I'm writing checks. I just want to win some games. You don't think that is a shot at all at about Dak Prescott and the performance of this team right now?
I think the blame has been squarely placed on the Clapper's clap. I think that's really where Jerry's put the blame, and I think that's where it's coming out. I don't think he faults Dak. I think he faults the fact that, Jason's not prepared. Let's just take the New England game, right? Now, on Wednesday before they played New England had a practice Wednesday. It was raining sideways, freezing cold, windy, and guess what they did? They went outside, practiced in it, right? They prepared for it. When we come to the game, Dak Prescott in the second quarter has to put a glove on to be able to control the football. Why didn't he know that before the game? Yeah. Why didn't he know that during the week of practice? Why didn't they practice with frozen footballs? Why didn't they practice with wet balls? Because they weren't prepared, and I think this is where Jerry sees the fault with his football team. He sees it in the lack of attention to detail.
Well, he complimented Zimmer a couple weeks ago. He complimented the Patriots. The writing's on the wall. I think Jason Garrett's out of there. I think everybody knows that now at this point, and I think they're probably going to end up 8-8 at some point. Now, let's pivot there for a team that's probably thinking, why is nobody talking about us with what we just did? The Bills, who have basically secured that first wild card position of the AFC, the number 5 seed there, and they're in the Patriots division, so it's tough to talk about them ever because you know that the dynasty's going to do their thing, but it feels like McDermott's got his team finally, and it feels like they're a squad that can really do some damage.
No doubt. I mean, Sean has done a tremendous job. I think he's really done a great job of building a culture up there. They play sound defense. Look, they're really good at being able to, when they can run the football like they did yesterday, and their defensive front can rush. I mean, they've got some guys in their defensive line that are really good. They don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves, and they're able to complement with what Josh Allen did yesterday, making enough plays in the passing game. I think they've done a great job, and I take my hat off to them. I think they've been impressive. This was the first time they really beat a team, that people said you got to beat a good team. Well, they beat a 6-6 team, but they were a good team. I mean, the Cowboys were a 6.5 point favorite going into the game. I love the Bills going in because nobody's given the Bills enough credit before. When you look at the statistical data on what happens, it's funny. Yesterday, Maher missed his 2 field goals. This is an important stat that no one pays attention to, is missed field goals are turnovers. I wrote about it in Gridiron Genius. They are turnovers. The ball's 7 yards away. The Bills are the second team in the National Football League in the amount of missed field goals by their opponent. That's huge. Now, it's lucky, but it's huge, right? And then yesterday, Maher misses 2 more field goals, and it helps them. And when you have that kind of fortunate luck going for you, and you're a good team, that really helps.
Agreed completely. It's 8 yards away, no big deal. But you're 100% right. It is a turnover. That is a thing that I've never thought of, actually, because, every time I go on the field, we're trying not to miss. But that isn't a very true statement. It's an entire drive that ends up with 0 points. Maher put him in a bad position. Another guy who didn't make a lot of kicks yesterday, but had the onside kick run, best onside kick run I think I've ever seen. Young Ho Koo tried to get the Atlanta Falcons back in that game, but I think it was very obvious. Anybody that knows anything about gambling going into that game, that the Saints were going to cover and the Saints were going to win in Atlanta.
I thought so, too. I mean, and I agree with you. I think most of America, as they were in their food coma like I was, in a carb coma, it was good to see that the Saints did cover, by 8 in that game. And, I mean, look, I thought the Lions would cover as well. I didn't anticipate David Blau was going to play, but I thought that, and now everybody's talking about MVP Mitch having a tremendous game. I've never seen a Lions defense that's as slow and lacks pressure on a quarterback. And if MVP Mitch could play the Lions every week, he probably would be a Pro Bowl quarterback.
No reason. Today's one day where Mitchell Trubisky can wake up and feel kind of good about himself, and here you are, Mr. Lombardi, just burying MVP Mitch.
Well, look, you got to be realistic. If you want to take that performance yesterday and think it's going to continue, then you can keep lying to yourself. You could do it. It's okay. We'll forgive you for it. But I mean, at that point, I said it 2 weeks ago. I recommended taking the Bears against the Lions when they played at home, laying 7. And why did I do that? Because I knew this Lions defense is as bad as it gets. And I mean, I don't understand it. It's really kind of clear. It's as bad as it gets. And I think so that, we just have to understand that sometimes there's certain games that are better against other people.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I apologize.
Hey, that sounds like you got one of them little dogs back here. Is that accurate?
No, I have, if you Google, I have Lagotto Romangolos, which are the Italian truffle hunting dogs from Italy. They're actually more Italian than I am.
They probably organize crime, but cook beautifully. All right, going into the weekend, what are you expecting to happen? Where can we put? I'm on a heater right now. I would like to let you know, Mr. Lombardi, I am on a heater right now, and I hope to continue to do so with your picks for the weekend, your locks for the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, the big brain, Michael Lombardi, with this weekend's who we should be putting all of our money and our mortgages on, please, and go.
Well, look, I'm 33 and 18 and 1. I mean, not no big deal, right? So, we're covering
that boy
33
good.
18 and 1.
That boy good.
Yeah. Is that good? I don't know. I mean, I'll take that. Yeah. I like Green Bay. I like Green Bay against the Giants. I think the Giants are as bad as you can possibly be on defense. I think I would lay the points against the Giants. I think Aaron Rodgers will bounce back and have a big game. I do like the Rams this week to bounce back. I think the line should be higher than it is based on my power rankings. I think the Rams should be able to go in there and play much better. They were embarrassed. I like teams that got embarrassed. And I think Tennessee, all due respect to Indianapolis, I think Tennessee's playing really good right now. And I think they're playing well. And without T.Y. Hilton, I worry about the Titans. I worry about the Colts being able to move the ball. So those would be my three.
All right, you got the Packers, the Rams, and the Titans led by Tannehill against the Colts. I don't love it. I'm going to be honest. The Colts, I was yelling into every camera I could find. That offensive line was just dominating everybody. Now, granted, the ball was out last week against the Texans. Everybody knows that except for the Alberto Riveron gang. But aside from that, it does feel as if this is a new Colts team. You really don't think that they can bounce back against the Titans? That means this season's about done if they lose to the Titans this weekend.
I think that the Titans are really peaking at the right time, and as we get into December, I mean, look, this Tannehill kid has made a real difference for their offense. They're physical; they can run the football, and we know this about the Colts. If they play over 30 minutes like the Cowboys, they get worn down on defense. The Cowboys played 33 minutes yesterday at defense. They have no chance. They're now 5-18 in games when they play over 30 minutes of defense, and that's kind of a little bit like the Colts.
Why is that? Is that because of conditioning or their style of defense or what?
Their style of defense, they're too small. They can't hang in there. They that's good for a 12-round fight. It's not good for a 15-round fight. And they have to rely on their movement, their quickness. And if you get them to have to play toe-to-toe, and I think what the Titans have been able to do is run the football, and then they've been able to make plays in the passing game with their receivers. Look, I haven't been in love with the Titans all year, but since Tannehill comes in, their numbers have dramatically changed. They're averaging over 1 yard more yards per attempt down the field. They're really good, and I think that when you break them down, I think you like what they're doing, and I like teams that are playing their best. Like, I love Tampa this week. I really do love Tampa. But the problem is I never feel good about betting James because I'm not sure he knows what color jerseys we're wearing each week.
There's like 4 teams in the AFC that are 6-5 right now. Steelers, Titans, Colts.
Raiders.
I think those are the 4 right there. Titans are still in playoff contention, by the way, which is wild to me because they were not to be talked about at all this season until Tannehill has really turned them around. Mr. Vrabel, Coach Vrabel said on Bussin' with the Boys, he would cut off his penis for another Super Bowl. I'm happy that they have a potential chance to go for that. Not happy for his wife, obviously, but excited for all those things. How do you think old Ducky Hodges is going to do this weekend against the Cleveland Browns at home in Pittsburgh?
Can we have a moment on Twitter together with the Duckster? Don't we just love it? I mean, you and I are the only 2 people that love the Duckster. I mean, the Duckster. I mean, I really would recommend the Steelers as well because I think Mike Tomlin's got the boys ready to go this week. I think that there's a revenge factor, and I think there's no one better than Mike Tomlin in terms of getting them motivated and getting them ready to play. And I think the Duckster, man, I think he gives them a much better chance. Mason Rudolph's like that typical 7-on-7 quarterback. Got to check the runners at first and third before he throws it to the plate. I mean, he's too slow to play. And I think that the Duckster lets it go. He spins it now, and I like that. And I think with the Browns not having Garrett rushing, Olivier Vernon, whether he plays or not, I think they'll move the ball on the Brownies.
Hey, when the Browns go to Pittsburgh and it's a Sunday night or Sunday day fight, Ducks fly together. When you're making your second start and it's against your biggest rival, Ducks fly together. Whenever you went to Sanford and you broke all the FCS records and now you get a chance to play because another guy threw helium balloons, Ducks fly together. That's where we're at right now with Ducky Hodges, pal. That's where we're at. All right, Mr. Lombardi. I can't thank you enough. I hope you.
I can't thank you enough, Pat. We'll be rooting for I'm going to get a Duckster shirt. I'll be wearing it on Sunday. Don't worry.
Hey, speaking of 20% off the entire store.patmcafeeshow.com and our Thanksgiving thank you sale. It'll continue through Tuesday. Ducks Fly Together shirt, hot off the press. Dick is wearing one now. Ladies and gentlemen, he was a GM. He was a long snapper for Hofstra way back in the day. Coach for the Patriots a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Pat. Bye-bye.
33, 18, and 1. Is that good? What a prick, dude.
I got goosebumps. That's what you saw there. I got goosebumps.
I saw you get goosebumps there when he's talking about the Steelers.
Anybody talks about Duck like that?
I mean, we need the Duckster.
We need him.
Bad. There's two legit Steeler fans in the room right now, but I think the entire nation is potentially going to get swept by Duck fever after this weekend if he gets hot.
Let's hope so.
I think everybody outside of Cleveland city limits is a Duck Hodges fan.
I think even in Cleveland, they're like, kind of wish we had this guy. You know what I mean? I think they like him there. Now, granted, Baker, loved by Cleveland, I would assume. Actually, I have no idea. He lives in the stadium, makes bad decisions. That commercial.
So many. There's honestly so many of those.
He did a lot of commercials. I would assume they shot those all in a couple of day period.
So.
But hey, we've been around a couple of those production shoots.
Oh.
Hey, they do
drag.
not take things quickly.
No.
Hey, well, that was perfect, but we got union folks here. We need to work for like another 6-7 hours. So we're going to do this shot 45 to 55 more times. That's what they do in these things.
Pat, that was perfect, but we need to shoot it like 17 more times. Makes no sense.
Okay, good. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. Maybe we can do it 30 more times. That'd be good for all of us. But Baker had to do that for all those commercials. And I think they're pretty clever. The alarm going off, the fire alarm going off, it's very relatable. I've had that. By the way, they all hit me. You know how like things all hit at one time?
Oh, yeah.
All the fire alarms have hit the house at one time. Ooh. And boy, you really do have to do exactly what he's doing. You stand in a hallway and you got to wait because it's like 30 seconds in between or 45 seconds or whatever it is. And you're just waiting. And then all of a sudden, let's say you don't focus. Like let's say you just lose focus, start thinking about something else. You hear it, you're like, damn it. Which way was it? Was it this way or was it this way? Then you got to do the whole thing. I like the commercial. I like the concept of it. I just don't like where he chooses to sit in the stadium in relation to where his kitchen is and everything like that. I just think it's a bad move. Bad decisions by Baker Mayfield. Freddie Kitchens makes a lot of those. I didn't think Baker would.
Hey, quick game here. If you had to redraft that draft class, Baker, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Josh Rosen.
Well, I think first things first, you go with Josh Rosen. Lamar Jackson, by the way, good for him. And that's what he was talking about on draft night, by the way. He was not happy seeing all these bums get drafted ahead of him. And that's what he was thinking, by the way. I don't think that. I don't think that. Now, granted, I have a better passer rating than a lot of those guys, but I don't think that personally because I never had to play quarterback in the NFL. It's a much harder position than you could imagine, I would assume. I don't know. But Lamar Jackson was thinking that on draft night. That's why he told Deion Sanders that, they're going to get a Super Bowl out of me, drafting all these slow, inaccurate, bum white dudes. Newsflash, now you can manscape without fear thanks to Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. You will feel fearless and fresh with Manscaped line of products, starting with the Lawnmower 2.0, which has proprietary skin-safe technology. Zito, I just heard a groan back there. You love this thing.
Oh, yeah.
This trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. Ain't that right, Zito?
Oh, no.
Plus, add the crop preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant, and moisturizer. I mean, why wouldn't you put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? That's a question I and many others have been asking, and Manscaped went ahead and answered it for you. It's time to man up and stop using the same trimmer on your face as you use on your balls. I was going to say a word that rhymed with ain't there.
Ooh, is that a nifty one?
Can't say it.
Can't say it.
Can't have a 10-second dump in the middle of an ad either.
Well done.
Thank you. Guys, not a lot of sleep. Showed real discipline there.
You really did.
Because I don't have a big filter. Normally pretty quick trigger there. And I chose, you know what? I ain't doing it.
Hey.
But you know what I'm talking about. And do not shave that with the same thing you're shaving your face with. That's nasty. Thanks to Manscaped, manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. Feel fearless, feel fresh, and feel fine when you use the right tools for the job this time. Your balls will thank you, and so will your wallet. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code America. We'll be back on the other side, 10:39. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Michael in Ohio on the phone. What's up, Michael?
What's up, bud? Hey, I just want to talk about how Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone going to fight on January 18th. And do you think Conor McGregor's going to get smacked in the mouth?
Michael, I appreciate that. I was watching the Sports Center late night last night, whenever I got home. And somebody, I forget who it was on there, somebody who seemed to know what they were talking about said, which, by the way, if you seem to know what you're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and take what you're saying as gospel if it's something I don't know what I'm talking about. He said that this is a good fight for Conor because Cowboy Cerrone's on the tail end of his career. He has a couple losses. Conor hasn't gotten a win in a few years. This is a good thing to get his confidence back because even though he is the most confident fighter we've seen in recent history, after having a loss and then disappearing for a while, getting a lot of money, getting into some problems, you get a win over a guy with a notable name that you can definitely promote and make big money off of. The swagger could come back for Conor, which then could propel him into a potential title run or something along those lines. In my eyes, though, I've said this. I don't know if Cowboy Cerrone has $1 billion. I don't know if Cowboy Cerrone has a yacht. But in a profession where it revolves around being gritty and enjoying the process, if Conor McGregor can come back and be just as good of a fighter as he was a couple years ago, after getting to experience the luxuries of life with yachts and things like this and Rolls Royces and all this stuff, and he is still waking up in the morning and rolling at 6 a.m. and getting punched in the face by other people, you have to have nothing but respect for that man's work ethic. And in my eyes, if that was me, there's no chance in hell I'm doing that. If I have a yacht, you're not going to see me rolling jujitsu at 6 a.m. in the morning getting tapped out by a guy that's 350 pounds. But fighters are different animals, and I would like to see how this plays out. But the person on the television that seemed to know what they were talking about said this is like a perfect fight for Conor to come back to. And after watching Robbie from Barstool's tour of Dana White's office, which is next level, if you haven't seen that, you should watch it. His office is... It's a building. It's beautiful. But he goes into this room where he makes these fights and he starts like, this is what the ratings of this fighter did and the ratings of this fighter did, and this is where this person's sitting and how many fights they got left on contract. And the way he is a fight maker, basically, the way he does it, everybody's saying this is a genius fight to put together by Dana White. It's going to get good promotion with the Cowboy who knows how to talk, Conor who knows how to talk. I think they have respect for each other, actually. I think they've talked nicely about each other, which will be interesting to see how that all gets played out. But everybody's saying this is good for Conor McGregor. Do you know much about the fighting, Michael?
Yeah, I do and I don't. You know, I just hate Conor McGregor, so it's just a shot at it, really.
Why do you hate him?
Because he's freaking cocky, man. All he does is run his mouth like he's some BA from Ireland. I'm some BA from Ohio.
I think you can say badass, by the way. I think you can say badass.
I wanted to say Ravens flock, baby.
I like Michael a lot. By the way, he's from Ohio and is a fan of the Ravens because when the Browns left Cleveland, they became the Ravens. These two new teams came back, and not new teams, but the Bengals and Browns haven't been able to win for him. He said, you know what? Team decided to leave, so did my fanhood. I'm going right to Baltimore. Good for Michael. I like that Michael guy a lot. Hey, Michael, you should call back sometime.
Great call.
I enjoyed that a lot. That Conor McGregor news was big news, though, I guess, right?
For sure.
And I think that was just Dana White throwing a bone to Donald Cerrone because he's been so good for the league for so long. He's had a long career. It's coming to an end. I think this is like, hey, I'm going to give you this shot because I don't think this is who McGregor would have chosen. I think it's like I don't think he's much a fan of McGregor anymore. So it's like, well, if you're going to come back, you're going to have to fight him because jiu-jitsu guys give him problems. And he's one of the better jiu-jitsu guys.
Cerrone is?
Yeah.
I wish I could do the Irish accent because at the press conference he said, when you get to fight me, you call your wife. You say, we've made it. We've done it. That's kind of what I think Dana White's doing for Cerrone here.
Yeah, I think so. It's about like this is probably the biggest fight. Well, it is the biggest fight Cerrone's ever had.
6 million career earnings, to your point, versus McGregor's $6 billion.
He said he's made $1 billion off that proper 12.
Yeah. Also, Cerrone,
so good.
talking about grit, he travels to fights in like an RV and stays in them. So like he is like the epitome of grit.
And I don't know much about fighting, right? I watch the fights. I watch every single time there's a fight. I watch them just because the human cockfighting thing is kind of very intriguing to me, right? I can never do it. So I think that's why I'm so intrigued by it. It's why I watch Dateline and these murder mysteries, because these are things that I could never physically or mentally do. So when you watch people do stuff, it's like awesome to see. It's like, man, what are these humans? And I enjoy watching them like, like almost play chess and checkers and what they're doing. But I mean, we're here for the bombs to get thrown on each other. That's what I'm there for. I don't know much about that, but I feel like mentally I can kind of relate, right? Where your entire life, what you're working your ass off for is financial freedom, right? That's what you're working your ass off for. You grind, you grind, you grind, you grind. And then you get a paycheck, and it's like, all right, I'm comfortable. And if you get to the point where you're like, this is enough for me, normally you see guys kind of plateau. But if you want more, you continue to grind, right? So I got a chance to get through a couple contracts and kind of keep going. Now I want even more, but in a different fashion. But you see so many people, once they get what they think is their dream, kind of plateau. I don't know how Conor has very much said that money is his motive. Like, that is what he is behind this for. I don't know how much you could possibly want, which could potentially affect how you train. I don't know Conor well enough, I guess. I don't know him because he almost made it through an entire boxing match, which I guess is cardio-wise is harder than anything. He made it a lot longer than anybody gave him a credit for.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he made, 12 rounds or 11 rounds or something like that. And for the first 10, it felt like he was winning, but I guess that was the old rope-a-dope. I mean, that was what was supposed to happen is what everybody was saying. So if he can get through that, with earning what his entire life he's been dreaming of earning, I think I would give him a lot more respect than I've ever showed him, which has been a lot, by the way. I thought he was going to beat Floyd. I thought he was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. How dumb did that sound? They had odds on like a plus 10,000.
Yeah,
I think that's why.
Too good not to.
I liked it so much. Yeah, I had to take it. But for me, I just, in that profession where you have to really, really like get your ass kicked to be good, I just don't know how you walk off the yacht right into that. And if he does,
No way.
I'll be so impressed.
No, you've nailed it, man. You can't maintain that hunger. And I get it. That's what happened to him when, who's the wrestler that demolished? Yeah, Khabib. Versus Cerrone. Cerrone's not really hungry either. He does very well. But that guy, Khabib, somebody like that who's literally fighting for existence.
Swimming in rivers.
No chance.
Yeah, he's swimming against currents in rivers in Russia.
Wrestling bears.
No shot.
Yeah.
He's doing yoga with his proper 12, punching old guys drunk at bars. I mean, it's hard. If he does it, kudos is the way we should look at that. But I just don't see it. Any other notable news we missed today in the last 3 minutes, Nick?
The price of Christmas trees has gone up, and it's more expensive than ever, and people are pissed.
Why?
Supply and demand, my friend.
Yeah, but why are people pissed? Like, hey, get a plastic one. It's a lot
Who's
better.
still buying real Christmas trees?
Apparently, a lot of people and Christmas trees farms are actually closing down.
You know, that's a shame because I am looking to buy a bunch of Christmas trees to put around my my property. By the way, very expensive. I mean, I don't know about the Christmas tree market, but I have looked into the fully grown pine tree market. It is an expensive one. But for me, as soon as you get a plastic tree, I mean, life changes immediately.
yeah.
You don't have to worry about hanging lights. The lights come in the
that's the
tree.
best part.
You don't have to worry about stepping on a thorn because there is none. Your animals don't have to eat the. I mean,
You don't
it's
have to
just,
water it.
No pine tar.
Listen, this might be no pine. I mean, no water. Remember back in the day when you had to get the water?
That was my job as a kid.
Yeah, me and Jay had to alternate jobs down there in the metal pan that's in the bottom. You got to get stabbed in the face and in the arm to water that thing. Who's buying real Christmas trees anymore? You should have to pay more because I can already tell you make bad decisions. So this is a punishment for the rest of the bad decisions you make throughout your life.
And squirrels hiding them too.
People forget.
In 2014, you could get a top-of-the-line tree for about $40. Nowadays, they're expected to go for $80 to $100.
That's not that bad.
Jeez.
Quit whining. That's not that bad. I
so
thought it was going to be like 400.
Now, and you can get a very good fake tree for $80 to $100 right now. That'll show up at your house tomorrow, by the way, through Amazon. I think these people that are growing these trees, these Christmas tree farm people, I think they see the writing on the wall. They're trying to get every dollar they can get out of these traditionalists. It's about done. They need to start trying to sell to people like me that are trying to, create some priazcy around their property whenever fall comes and the leaves
Have
fall.
you thought about just buying seeds and just seeing it yourself like
I don't
Johnny
have
Appleseed?
Patience. I don't have to pay. Zito, I think that would take like 10 years to get
least.
privacy.
I'll do it.
You'll sit out there and wait with that thing?
Oh, yeah.
Green thumbs eat.
See, I'll probably move like 5 times before that happens. They're very expensive, by the way. Full grown.
Oh, jeez.
And then I guess it's a real logistical nightmare.
The
to get-
excavation to put it in. You can have backhoes
Tell
on
me
your
this.
front yard.
From what I've been told, I got some creek people that live down in my backyard. Okay? You look out at night, and there's just these 2 lights that seem to be in my backyard. I'm like, how did the people that created this piece of property not get that thing, right? And for me, I don't know what they're doing. There's all yelling going on down there. And I just want to put up like 4 pine trees just right there. Just I kind of block off that light so I don't feel as if I'm being watched the entire time. It's expensive.
You ever get a deer spotter to see what they're doing?
Oh, got a telescope.
No, I don't do it.
I almost don't want to know.
Probably moonshining.
Probably moonshining.
There's been some squeals there. I mean, there's been some loud noises.
That's the steam. That's the steam from the shine.
10:55. Got another hour here. This Feel Good Friday. Store.patmcafeeshow.com. 20% off everything right now on our Thanksgiving thank you sale. We appreciate the hell out of you. In the second hour, we got Eddie George. We got Pep Hamilton. We got a lot of good chitter chatter here on the Pat McAfee Show. We'll see you.
It's the perfect occasion for a mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication. 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is Chase Rice. That man is handsome and a country singer. He's on tour. If he's in your city, go check him out. I'm being joined by all the boys here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Todd and Connor on the casting couch. How is it over there, boys?
It's good. It's nice and cozy. You won $3,500?
Yeah, I'm pretty hot right now. That Bills money line was a good bet. I felt really good about it. I also bet the Saints. Everybody knew they were going to be a buzzsaw going into Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Was not indicative of anything else. We talked to Roman Harbour last week. He said, sometimes you think you can turn it on, then you don't. We knew the Saints were going to win that one. And then the Lions, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard with Mitchell Trubisky and the way that team has played this year. It just seems like something hasn't clicked for all parties.
Yeah, sure.
But hearing Foxy talk about his life as a Lions fan, I just knew what was going to happen strictly because of the life of a Lions fan. And it played out exactly how a Lions fan would tell you it was going to play out. Our backup quarterback, who's out because the guy we paid so much money has a broken back, that guy's out a day before the game. We got a guy named Plow coming in out of nowhere.
He looked good.
He did play well.
And he slings it. We take a lead. We have a good time. Halftime show doesn't work. Then we lose at the end. And that's exactly how we could have said it was going to happen. And I bet on it. And that's exactly what happened. Diggs also here. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, the whole game, the Lions-Bears game was basically the whole Lions season. They start out hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they're the Lions.
They were winning the whole game except for the last 2 minutes.
We got to get to Eddie George here. Not have to. We get to Eddie George here in a couple minutes. But, Foxy, you said they should keep Patricia around. I think so, too, by the way.
I'm really struggling with this one now, especially after what Mr. Lombardi said.
His defense.
That's what you're known for at the Patriots. It worked.
What if he wants to get out? Trades out Nino. What if he wants to get out? That would be insane. Nick here.
Hey, only 3 teams have had a lead in every single game this season. The 49ers, 10 wins. The Chiefs, 7 wins. Lions.
So it's heartbreaking
3 wins.
every single time.
And this is every single season. Like, it's not like this is just a normal, like a different year. Every year they do this. Every year they have a chance. And every year they disappoint. I knew they were going to lose that game. They were winning the whole game, and I knew they were going to lose.
At Ty Schmitz here, at Viva Lazio, got a chance to celebrate the Chicago Bears actually winning a game, especially on primetime.
Back-to-back.
Mitchell Trubisky, by the way, made some throws there that made him look like a good quarterback in that game, Z. That had to feel good, even though you're completely sold him out weeks ago.
That Miller kid is legit.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Memphis. Did you happen to see the one play where Mitch, I think they had the yellow line on the ground. They were like, no, can't get a first down.
Yeah, he looked allergic.
I thought he was Pete Rosing it.
Oh, you thought he bet against himself?
I thought so.
Oh, my God.
He ran back 3 yards.
That didn't look great for him or the Bears. Jason McAfee's here wearing some merch. Appreciate that.
Oh, let's go, Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Happy birthday.
Ty Schmidt, big game for the Packers this weekend. How do we feel?
Pretty good. They're going to beat the hell out of the Giants. Giants
right.
stink.
Danny Dimes got no shot back there on the phones. 1-833-622-3331 from Canada. Legal immigrant currently. Gumpy, how's it going, bub?
Good. How you doing, pal?
Pal, when are you going back to Canada? When are they going to catch up with you? When's the ICE agents going to show up at the office?
Next Sunday.
Hey, pal. All right. Sounds good.
Schedule.
Have we gotten any update on whether or not you could potentially become a citizen here or no?
It's not looking good. I mean, my lawyer doesn't like to answer the phone either. That's an issue.
Yeah.
I think you're just as likely to get a bullet in the head as you are to get citizenship at this point. They're after him.
We don't even need citizenship. Just
a work visa.
Just a work visa.
Can't even get that. I'll tell you what, the Canadians have been a problem in this country.
Oh, yeah, the
geese. Yeah, the geese.
This is payback, finally.
True.
Gumpy, I could give you a visa. I got like 6 or 7 of them, man.
They're all maxed out. Won't be worth a damn thing. It's great to be back here. The Thursday Night Football schedule has commenced. No, ended.
Proud of you, man.
Good job.
Hey.
You made it.
You did it.
Commenced means begin.
Yeah.
Leave a speech.
Commencement?
I thought commencements were like graduation.
Yeah, me too. But I think, by the way, I think I've used this in a sentence before. I think the actual literal definition means begin or something.
On it.
Yeah,
Begin
they say
to start.
let the meeting commence.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
starting.
But commencement is at your graduation, which is very interesting to me. And I've been caught with my pants down with this. It's not. It's the complete opposite. Though. I thought it meant ending, but instead it's the opposite of beginning.
So commence does mean start, beginning, start, blah, blah, blah. But commencement is a ceremony in which degrees or diplomas are, it's just
Yeah, it's at the beginning of the rest of your life, though. That's
Oh,
all.
there you go. That's it. I guarantee it.
Great send off at the end of the game last night, though. That was awesome.
Hey, thank you. The end of the game was insane. Got a chance to say thanks to everybody and all that, but my ears are still ringing from those cowbells. And it's bad digs. It was bad. We have headphones on, and we had a microphone down near the field. So all those cowbells were getting fed into like a bong almost, you know,
Piped in.
and then funneled into both of my ears. And I listen to things loud. I like things loud. First time in my life, I had to turn something down. And then after the game, first time in my life, when I took that, my ears hurt. Like my ears hurt, my head hurt. Felt like I just got done getting punched in the face by a bear, like just on both sides. So I can understand how a lot of people on the internet were saying, hey, those cowbells should be illegal. Kick them off the tour, Doug. They're fake things or whatever. They hurt my ears, but it was an electric environment. Big win for Mississippi State. Coach Moorhead, Pittsburgh guy, by the way, said in his post-game interview that him and his family, all of Pittsburgh's in town. We're going to go drink some icy lights and enjoy this.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a super
Save
Pittsburgh.
the city.
From Penn Hills.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's from Penn Hills, which is where Aaron Donald's from, which is right next to us.
Down in Turtle Creek.
Nope, Penn Hills, different place. But 11:07 here. Is Eddie George on the phone? Eddie George on the phone. Okay, I think you just answered. That's incredible news. He just called in. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man that is a Heisman winner. His jersey was retired for the Tennessee Titans. He's a very successful man both on and off the field. He's doing legendary commercials at the moment. I got a chance to chat with him last week. Still has it, by the way. If you look at him, looks like he could still put up 150 if you need him to. Ohio State legend, Tennessee Titan legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George.
Happy holidays, man. Happy Thanksgiving, Pat.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Eddie. I got a chance to chat with you before we went on air in College Game Day. Right now, you're currently doing like financial management or investing money for folks. Is that accurate?
Yes. I have the Edward George Wealth Management Group.
Oh.
About 10 years ago, I got my MBA from Kellogg School of Management. And from that experience, I said, hey, I need to figure out a better way to make money, not just for myself, but for others. So based off of that, in short, I went and got fully licensed, got my Series 7 license, my 66, Life Health, whatever other license you need to be qualified. And I said, you know what? I have a vision that Pat McAfee is going to make $1 billion. Amazing host and all that you're doing. So guess what, brother? I'm going to be one of your advisors one day. I'm going to speak that into existence. So, yes, this moment is about right now for me being one of your financial advisors.
Okay, that sounds good to me, Eddie. With everything you've done in your life, I can only assume that you're incredible at financial advising. Let's go ahead and talk now about this weekend, a rivalry that everybody knows about. Last weekend in Columbus, I couldn't even wear khakis because of a coach from the state or the team up north that wears them. Ohio State, Michigan this weekend. It's a massive game, as is every game that Ohio State has been playing in. But what can you tell us about the rivalry that we might not know?
That it is, and I don't want to say this loosely, but it is really like a battle, a war without bullets. And Desmond has said the same thing. And there's no disrespect to our military or anything of that nature. I'm not saying that. Well, I am saying it is a heated rival. Both schools don't like each other. It's not like a game. You played in some hard drag out, knockout games where you absolutely hated Pitt. You know, you went to West Virginia, so you understand the energy, the level of focus, the sense of urgency that you have on every single play because it matters. I mean, this goes back since the beginning of time between Ohio State and Michigan, and it's certainly no love lost between both schools, especially over the recent past 15, 14 years. of Ohio State's dominance over Michigan and how the Michigan's brand is trying to get back to relevance. The stakes are pretty high this week. So I know emotions are going to run high, fists are going to be thrown, and my household is already ready for the Armageddon, what's going to happen this week. And we're already prepared and ready. And Ohio State's gear out and all that. So we're excited.
You know what I love about this rivalry? Anybody that's ever been involved in it, while they're talking about it, they will talk badly about the other team in their answer, which is very professional. He's like, well, yeah, Michigan currently looking for relevance. They've been stomped in this rivalry for a long. What do you like about Ryan Day? This guy has stepped up after Urban Meyer leaves and has made them a better team somehow. What is it about him that is really helping the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Well, the environment's different. The roster's the same as the previous years under Urban Meyer, and there's no right or wrong answer to this. And there's no style that's better. Urban had a different style of coaching. He created an environment that when you walked the door, you were competing the moment that you stepped in there with everything. Coaches, everybody were on the same page in terms of an environment of excellence. Whereas Ryan Day has that element, but it's more of a professional NFL type of locker room culture where you give guys the freedom to be who they are and be kids and have fun. Like, for example, after the Rose Bowl win last year, Ryan Day takes over and he gives a speech and he says, hey, guys, typically right after the bowl game, they're going to start workouts and get ready for next season. Next week, he says, for over the next 2 weeks, go be kids. And that set the tone for those guys. So what you're seeing now is them have a level of responsibility but within the locker room, and they're keeping each other accountable. But it's more of a relaxed environment, and it's paid off dividends tremendously for these guys because they come out dialed in every single weekend, ready to rock, ready to be focused. And I have yet to see this team come into a game where they're sleepwalking and not playing up to their capability. Come in, take care of business, and they don't flounder under pressure.
They've been dominant. They have two potential Heisman finalists on the same team. That's always good news. That's always good news, by the way, whenever you're going in there. Do the Heisman – now, I might not know this accurate. Heisman winners get Heisman votes. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for in your Heisman winner? What is it? Is it somebody that dominates a game, that's the best player on the field, that if they weren't playing, how bad their team would be? What do you look for, Eddie?
I look for consistency and dominance. I look for how consistent can you be in between those games that you have, an explosive Heisman moment. Are you still being consistent? Are you still putting up numbers? Are you still, when you're struggling, are you finding ways to still be effective and affect the game in a major way? Those are the things I look for. I look for how you play fair against superior competition, not just beating up on teams that have less talent than you. So I look at all of that. In November, that's where Heismans are won and championships are made. And I think when you look at Chase Young, you look at Justin Fields, they really have a great chance to make a claim over the next 2 weeks at making a trip to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremonies.
How's Joe Burrow stack up there? Because he has – now, granted, he wasn't an Ohio State guy. Yeah, I mean, he has completely flipped that LSU.
Well, let's be clear. He is an Ohio State kid. We had him first. So that also counts. He's wearing LSU colors, but in his heart of hearts, he's a Buckeye. So we have 3 Buckeyes. But, Joe is having – I think he is the front runner right now. LSU has an offense that I don't think anyone in the SEC has ever seen. A 4,000-yard passer, 2 1,000-yard rushers, a third one that's on the cusp of being of going over 1,000 yards, 2 1,000-yard receivers. Simply unheard of what they've been doing offensively at LSU, and he's at the helm of that. And I'm really proud and happy for him. When he couldn't find a home or a space last year, fighting out with Dwayne Haskins for that starting position, goes on to LSU, and he's finding much prosperity there, and it's exciting to see that. So, whoever wins it is definitely deserving of it. It should be an exciting finish.
All right, let's pivot. Much prosperity not being found in Jerry World yesterday. I mean, the Cowboys right now, you got a chance to play for the Cowboys for a little bit. I completely forgot about that until we just showed a picture. You were a Cowboy. What is it like down there in Jerry World? And have you heard his comments about Jason Garrett? And do you think there's any chance that Jason Garrett comes back as the head coach of the Cowboys next year?
No. there's no chance. When Jerry says that, I believe in you, and the media says, I believe in Jason Garrett, that's my guy, guess what? His head is on the chopping block. And Jerry, he wants to win right now. There's no reason why that roster, with the process they have, the talent they have on that team, with Zeke and Dak was playing out of his mind defensively, they don't have that leadership in terms of in the locker room or be held accountable to be a championship team. We're seeing that. They are right now a 9-7, 6-6 team in terms of chemistry-wise. And that has to be the head coach. And I think Jerry sees that. I think he wants to make a change and find somebody out there that can do it. This team has not made the playoffs, or when they make the playoffs, they have not gone deep into the playoffs. And they're just too talented not to be sitting at 10 wins, 9 wins right now, to be quite frank and honest with you. So I think a lot of it comes from their preparation, their belief in in leadership, and he's going to rectify that. And Jerry Jones is going to get exactly what he wants in terms of finding a guy that can lead this team, the roster that he has, to a championship and playing much better than what they've been playing.
Okay, so a lot of people say, who's going to want that job when you have no control because Jerry Jones is there? That's definitely going to be a job that a lot of folks are going to want.
Yep. And there have been many, many coaches since Jimmy Johnson to try to take over the helm there, and they have not succeeded. Bill Parcells was my coach, and he's a Hall of Fame head coach. He couldn't figure it out. And if Bill can't figure it out, I don't think Bill Belichick can figure it out because, Jerry Jones should be the guy that's going to be calling the plays. I mean, he is that guy. And I think it's tough for him to take his hands off the reins and say, hey, you guys, you're the general manager, you can make the decisions. But it's tough at the end of the day because he's a very successful billionaire, and everything that he's done and he's touched has been successful. But the one thing that's eluding him is a championship. He cannot figure it out. So I think he has to get out of his own way and allow coaches to coach and trust that they're going to do the best thing for the team and not get in the way. But, we'll see.
Josh McDaniels goes down there, becomes a head coach. He brings Tom Brady with him. Tom Brady, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You see it happening?
No, I don't. That's not happening. Josh McDaniels, I think he had the best job in the world. You got Tom Brady. Get paid up there. Don't leave. Don't go somewhere else. Don't go to Cleveland. Don't go to Washington or to Cincinnati and get exposed and be there for 2 or 3 years. I wouldn't do it. I mean, those organizations. They're not winning organizations. It's a 2-year hustle. That's what that is. Continue to win championships and get the highest paid coordinator in the league. That's what I would do.
Okay, so it sounds like you're talking about the Bill Belichick coaching tree, which has not had a lot of success outside of New England. Now, granted, I'm sure there's 1 or 2. Vrabel's doing okay right now, which is good for him, but he just played. I don't know if he coached for the Patriots.
No, he never coached for the Patriots. He coached under Bill O'Brien, who was from New England and Houston, but he comes from that same tree. He also coached under Urban, so he has a mixture of great coaches that he's played for. Andy Reid, another one, Bill Cowher. So he's got a strong pedigree of coaches that he can draw from.
Okay, so Evan Fox here is a diehard Lions fan. Matt Patricia now looking like he's either going to be gone after this year or maybe after next year. He goes back.
And how many years is that? How many years?
2. It's been 2. You're 100%
on. I just wanted to be clear. You have 24 months to show what you can do, but continue your question.
Well, I was going to say, if that Cowboys job opens up and it's not a McDaniels or anybody else from the NFL, a lot of people are talking about college coaches making the jump, especially with Cliff Kingsbury having a little bit of success. Lincoln Riley's name has been linked there. But now, just today, somebody in this show said Urban Meyer has floated the concept of being the Dallas Cowboys head coach as something he would enjoy. Do you see that happening at all?
I would love to see that. I would love to see Urban Meyer in Dallas with Jerry Jones. Those two guys. Are you kidding me? There will be more fireworks off the field than it would be on it. I guarantee you that. I don't know if I could be wrong, but I don't know if Urban Meyer is really cut for the culture for the NFL. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think that why. It takes a different type of style. It's a lot of egos in the locker room. I don't know if his style would resonate with a bunch of professionals that are making millions of dollars. And I think Urban is a wonderful recruiter. He's a hell of a coach. He's an all-time head coach. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer as a head coach in college football. I think college football is his mainstay, and that's his platform. But the NFL is a different deal, man. I don't know too many coaches that have made the jump from college to professional and been successful. Maybe Harbaugh, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer. 3 that I can name off the top. Maybe Herman Edwards. He's been a head coach going to college, but he's having some success. But I don't know. Going to Dallas and making the jump to the NFL, that's a monster, man. That is a huge task to try to win a championship down under the star and under Jerry Jones and take on. You're taking on more than just a football team. You're taking on a city, a legacy, and a billionaire owner who wants things done right now. So it's a lot of pressure you have to take on. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah, Pete Carroll was an NFL guy before he was a college guy.
Yeah, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, and he's had success back in the NFL, but he was an NFL guy to begin with before he went to college.
Yep.
So that's something, and I think just because the on-field play is starting to resemble each other in college and the NFL, it doesn't mean the personalities are. And I think that is something that doesn't get talked about enough, especially when it comes to coaching and reaching people and all that stuff. And how you handle egos is a big deal in the NFL. I assume it is in college as well, but it's more of a dictatorship. In the NFL, you got to handle egos. Okay, before I let you go, Eddie, and you go make another $1 billion, however you're going to do it. Whenever I make $1 billion, I'm going to definitely send my money down to you because you're just an immaculate human. What do you think the final score is, Ohio State, Michigan this weekend?
I think, oh man, this is going to be a tight one. I think the final score will be Ohio State. They showed some weaknesses on their defense a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and say 45-7. You like how I set that up? Before you go, though, my friend, we have another rivalry this weekend in the NFL.
Oh, yeah,
Colts, right?
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either because it feels like you guys are getting hot and we are getting cold.
No, yeah, don't sit up here and give Ohio State and Michigan and Dallas and just skate over the fact that Indianapolis and the Titans play this weekend, brother. And you have made some comments at the draft, haunting our fans of how we are. The streak. You've never lost. You never had to go out and punt against the Titans because their offense always scored. Yeah. So we have a wager, my friend, this week. So this guarantees me that I'll be on next week.
Okay.
On your show.
All right.
And we're going to bet a Dr. Pepper on this.
Okay.
Okay. That's what we're going to do. I want my Dr. Pepper ice cold. All right. And I want it signed. Pat McAfee sucks. That's the bet. All right.
And also, I would like 24 hours of you in a McAfee jersey as well if the Colts win. I'll go in an Eddie George jersey for 24 hours. You go in a McAfee jersey for 24 hours. Signed, cold, Dr. Pepper from the losing person as well. Sound good?
Absolutely. That's a bet. And you better have me on next week, too.
No, Eddie, you can come on anytime you want. That's what, and also, I'm not feeling good about it right now. I am not. I mean, granted,
you know what? All the bravado, all the confidence you had, and your chest sticking out, and all that nonsense. Yeah, that's Mike Babel calling me right now. He's calling me right now. Saying, get him, Eddie, get him.
Ladies and gentlemen, All-Pro, All-American. He's got a business call on the other line. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George. Thank you so much, Eddie.
Hey, y'all have a blessed one, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. What a legend, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, he was electric.
He's hilarious. That was awesome.
I love Eddie George. Man, I did think I was going to be able to sneak through that entire thing.
I love that he didn't let it.
I was ready to end that conversation, by the way. Let's not even talk about Tannehill potentially, who I took a shot at in the past, by the way, on Twitter whenever I said.
Who hasn't?
Join the club.
I understand, but I mean, mine are a little bit more public. When Tannehill got paid by the Dolphins, I was like, if they're paying Tannehill that, I mean, they're going to have to give Luck a percentage of the Colts if that's what they're paying Ryan Tannehill. All the Dolphins fans came after me. GM came after me for talking about business negotiation. I'm like, well, if my tweets are affecting your negotiations, I mean, probably in a bad spot to begin with. But he goes on right now to the Titans, and he's heating them up. I mean, he's leading like in he is dominant for them right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Vrabel has shown that he is a very good coach. I mean, they've gotten some very big wins. And that running back, Henry, is what, 290? That
I was
guy.
about to say, Eddie's got to love it because Eddie was a big, tall running back, and Derrick Henry is very similar. I assume he's got to love that.
I really thought there was a chance that Nashville and Titans fans just completely forgot about that draft.
Doesn't seem like it.
Not in this decade.
I would like it to be known that Reggie really did it, right? Incredible words by Reggie Wayne. Off the cuff, too. I don't think he was meaning to do that. I think maybe he had it loaded, just waiting for something. But now what am I supposed to do in the same night, on the same stage, representing the same team? I mean, I'm a teammate, Eddie. You know, I got to back my guy up. And, I mean, everything I said was factual. But, hey, Colts won't lose to the Titans. Get out of here. Colts won't lose to the Titans, Eddie. Nah. Hey, Eddie, get that McAfee jersey down there. He's going to be signing for $1 billion deal. Wearing some cheap jersey from China because that's the only jerseys you can find them on now. They are gone. Sally McAfee even had to get a jersey. Or maybe we'll send him a jersey.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll make it ourselves. I'll wear his jersey because he can probably still buy it somewhere. Mine are obsolete. 11:27. We got to get to a break. We got Pep Hamilton on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach of the DC Defenders.
Oh,
that's
my
your
team, baby.
Dwayne Haskins.
Cardale.
Oh, yikes.
They play very similar.
Cardale, though.
I'd rather have Cardale than Dwayne Haskins.
Cardale said he could throw that thing 82 yards out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're going to be airing it out.
I talked to Cardale Jones 2 times in 3 days.
How was that XFL ball?
Oh, yeah. I think did I bring it in? No. Yikes. Thought about bringing it in this morning. It's got like a rubber leathery feel.
Oh, like a rugby ball.
No, not that soft. It's still a pretty firm ball, but it feels a little rubbery. Thinner. I think it's a little bit thinner than an NFL ball.
Okay.
I can grip it a little bit better, a little bit lower.
The laces looked pretty fat on it, too.
Yeah, it's pretty grippable. I assume quarterbacks are still going to beat it up, though. I mean, that's something that, you know what I mean? And kickers are going to beat it up. But it looks like you could kick and throw that thing quarter mile.
Ooh.
Quarter mile. That's what I think. We'll talk to Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton told me to my face plenty of occasions that he would smoke me in a race. Pep Hamilton used to wear J's every day, used to run every day. Cool dude. Good conversations he and I used to have. I'm going to bring that up, see if he still feels that way, because we can get this done as I'm an on-field. 11:28, we'll be back on the other side with Pep Hamilton. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is 11:32 here on this Friday, November 29th. Just had to fix my ear thingy. Joining me now, the head coach for the DC Defenders. He was at Stanford, then the Colts, then at Michigan. Now he's leading a franchise into a brand new league, ladies and gentlemen. The slow Pep Hamilton.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You know, there's some rumors swirling around, man, that you're challenging me to a race.
Hey, listen, you used to pop off and chirp a little bit whenever I thought I was a little bit of an athlete. I see you're still in great shape, though. That's awesome to see.
Still working at it, man. Just know, you know, in my hood, we don't get outran by punters.
Pep, I am so happy for you, man. I was excited to see you get selected for this position. I think it was only a matter of time before you got to run your own show. Now you're doing it in a brand new league. What can we look forward to with the XFL and your DC Defenders?
You know, I think the one thing you can look forward to for sure is just an exciting, fast-paced brand of football. We look forward to, you know, really fielding a team that's going to play tough, smart football. But at the same time, you know, we're trying to wear down the opponent. We're trying to, as you've always heard me say quite often, impose our will on the opponent. And with the rules and the parameters that we have in place, if you can play a physical brand of football on offense and defense, you're going to have a good opportunity to win all your games.
What does that mean? What do you mean by the rules that are in place? What's different from the NFL that would make you think, like, hey, physical football is going to be dominant in the XFL?
Well, I think everything's going to happen faster.
Okay.
You know, shorter play clock. You'll see, I don't know that you'll necessarily see more plays, but you'll see up-tempo, you know, we're kind of advocating that you play the game faster and really hold the fans' attention by getting to the ball just a tad quicker than you typically see in professional football.
I've been seeing you sit in, like, executive boardrooms, basically. You guys are shaping this league currently. You're one of the minds behind this. That has to feel like a pretty cool thing to reimagine football.
Oh, come on. That's it's exciting. I tell you what, for 20 years straight, I've had somewhat the same routine of attending mini camp, training camp, and then you jumping right into your season. Well, this year, 2019, was different for me. To have an opportunity to sit in and hear Mr. McMahon and Oliver's vision of what they want the XFL to look like, that's been fun.
Well, is Vince McMahon the biggest anomaly you've ever heard speak before?
I tell you what, I think just looking at the platform that we've established for our league, I think without a doubt, you know, our leadership is outstanding, and their vision is going to be the reason that this thing is a success.
Okay, Pep, you coached at Michigan for a little bit. This weekend, Ohio State, Michigan's taking place. You were there for a few years. What did you learn about that rivalry that's taking place up there in Ann Arbor?
Well, you know, I think when you look at the rivalries that we have all across sports, the North Carolinas and Dukes, the Packers and Bears, I think Michigan and Ohio State is right up there near the top, if not at the top. True short story. I got to tell you this story. Last year's game, it got ugly fast. But my son Jackson, you got to remember Jackson because he talks about you all the time.
Good kid.
Make a long story short, my son Jackson and a couple of his buddies that play on this little league team, they traveled to the Horseshoe with us last year, and after the game, I came out the locker room, head down just a tad, and walked over to my son. And my son's an aspiring quarterback, and he said, "Dad, you know, I got something I want to talk to you about." I said, "What, Jack?" I thought he was going to say, "Well, Dad, you know, don't worry about it. You know, we'll get him next time." He said, "I think I know where I want to go to school." He said, "I want to be a Buckeye, Dad." He said their quarterback didn't have to throw it very far at all for them to score touchdowns. And, man, it was intense in that stadium. So it's a great rivalry. I think just looking at how the Michigan's offense and their team overall has picked up over the past few weeks, I think it's going to be a really good game. It'll be a lot more competitive and closer than what a lot of people expect that it'll be.
Okay, so you're the head coach. Is there a GM for the DC Defenders, or what is the operation here?
Yeah, here, you want to meet the GM?
Yeah. He just spun his chair in a circle, if you're listening on radio, and said, "It's me," basically. Okay, so who's doing like the scouting and stuff for this? How like will there be a DC Defender scout at that Michigan game, Ohio State game?
Absolutely. So the way it works is the league. We have they handle the overall scouting of prospects and vetting out players at a league level.
Gotcha.
But it's still our job as franchises to evaluate the prospects that we want to add to our team. But the pool is ultimately formulated by the folks at the league office now. And that's led by Doug Whaley, former Buffalo Bills general manager. Now, let me say this, though. I have a great personnel staff. I have my director of personnel is Greg Gabriel, longtime NFL scout, director of college scouting with the Chicago Bears. We were together for a number of years in Chicago once upon a time. Gerald Dixon, who was also a scout, worked in personnel for the Buffalo Bills, along with Matt Cooper, who was in Buffalo. So I have a really good group of guys to help, support us in making good decisions on the personnel side.
Okay, so you're the head coach and the GM. I feel like that is every coach's dream, is to run his own operation. People see what happens with Belichick and Pete Carroll, and Adam Gase had there for a month somehow. I have no idea how that. But you always hear about how if you're a coach, you want to be able to manage your own roster. It's like, hey, you're gonna force me to cook here, but you're not gonna let me buy the ingredients that I'm supposed to cook with. And now, granted, some GMs and head coaches get along well, but there's many occasions where they do not. Is that something that really drew you to the XFL? Like, hey, I get to basically create my own team and coach my own team here?
That was a very exciting part of taking on this challenge and taking on this position. And I will say, it's not just a coincidence that I ended up with four Buckeyes on our roster and 4 guys from the Nittany Lions. If you can't beat them sometime, you join them, But it's been fun. It's been fun. Only time will tell if we made the right decisions from a personnel standpoint, but we're really excited about our quarterback who you've had on the show, Cardell Jones, and the other quarterbacks we have, Tyree Jackson from the University of Buffalo, and we just added Vad Lee, former quarterback at JMU. But we have a really good roster on paper. We'll find out what we're about here soon. We start training camp next week. We start mini camp, next week here in D.C., so we're fired up about that.
So how's that go? How's minicamp go? You guys got like facilities and everything? You got everything, meetings?
Absolutely. I'm here now. I'm sitting in the office. I'm warming my whistle up, trying to get ready for the guys who will show up next week.
Pep, I cannot wait to be a part of the XFL. I can't wait to watch you do well in the XFL. You're a great head coach, and you relate to players so well. That's why you can motivate and bring out the most in everybody. I can't wait to see your DC Defenders. I can't wait to see the XFL, and I can't wait to be on that sideline and outrun your ass so you go back to your hood and say, hey, this punter, this white dude smoked me in jorts. That's what you're going to have to say.
I might lose my card, bro. That's not going to happen. I might lose my card. Pat, I'm proud of you, man. I tell you what, there was never a doubt that you would do well in whatever you chose to do once you finished playing football. But we've seen this. We saw this a long time ago when we were together at the Colts. Pat used to host every event that the Colts had, and he did an outstanding job then. And I thank you for taking the time during training camp to let my son catch punts and shag balls for you. Not only is he a great quarterback, 36 touchdowns in 6 games that he accounted for. Yep. All right. But he's the punter, kicker, and punt returner.
I like that. It's good for the brand. And when he's a Buckeye, I can't wait to say that I knew that kid. And when he wins the Heisman, I'll be excited to say, hey, when he was younger, I got a chance to hang out with him, and that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. So, Pat, you deserve all the credit for diversifying that position. And comparable to the Rooney Rule, we have a McAfee Rule for young specialists.
Ladies and gentlemen, incredible human. He's going to be a great coach for the DC Defenders. Pat Hamilton. Thank you,
all right,
Pat.
bro. Thank you, guys.
He's the best. He's the absolute best, dude. He was so cool. I used to sit next to him before every game. He would come sit next to me in Vinatieri. And we'd have like a 10, 15-minute conversation just about life and everything. And that's the moment, like literally right before the game, he's just sitting next to me and Vinny having full conversations just about life, how he's feeling going into the game, what we should look for. I'd always say like, hey, Pep, are we punting early or late? Like, I need to know. Are we going to come out hot? Do I need to warm up a little bit now, or do I got a good, like a little bit of these? Pat, they've been good in first quarter. The other team, he's just real. He's good. He can relate to people too, which is very good. I'm excited to see how that league does.
Yeah.
He's got a facility over there. He's got mini camp coming up. He's the GM too, which is always good whenever the coach has a chance to control who he gets to coach. I mean, that's beautiful. It seems like they're potentially doing it right this time. Oliver Luck has a big brain, and Vince McMahon, he does as well.
I could be wrong, but I think they're letting all the head coaches be GMs as well.
Yeah.
In that league. I think that was the lure to be a coach in that league.
By the way, Rex Ryan, go get a team over there. I don't know if they'll pay him enough. I don't know if they would, but him as a GM and a head coach would be
out of control.
Nuclear.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me with all field access with a Rex Ryan football team?
Let's go.
Pat, get the hell out of here.
Just put the mic in his face.
Rex, what the hell was that? Well, the corner didn't cover anybody, Pat.
Fourth down?
What are you talking about? That's incredible. I think the XFL is going to do well. I forgot how awesome Pep was, though. When you don't talk to somebody for a couple years, you know? That guy's hilarious. He would, every time I did anything, he would just be like, it's still smoky, though. I mean, I had a fake against the Titans where I thought I was floating a little bit. I was catching up to some people that were running the opposite direction because they thought I punt the ball down the field. Less than a minute and a half after getting off the field, I get told, I've never been more sure that I could beat you. Good guy. All right, do we have another break?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes. All right, let's get to a break. 11:44, and then we'll hit the phones on the other side to kind of wrap up this show. 1-833-622-3331. Big thanks to Pep, Eddie George.
It's great.
Michael Lombardi. It's been a good Friday here.
Yeah.
Let's finish it strong with some good phone calls. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. we've had to cover, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Minnesota wins by 50 this weekend. I believe I'll be there. I think.
Nice.
All right.
Let's go.
Hey, by the way, hey. All right.
In the snow.
In the snow. I guess it's very difficult to get planes, both commercial and private, Thanksgiving week. That's what I'm currently learning.
Yikes.
So, yeah, I think I'm going to be there. Hey! Maybe. All right, let's go to James in Indiana here. James, what's going on, bub?
Yeah, what's up, Pat?
Well, just hanging out. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, James. Having a nice little feel.
How the boys doing?
Hey, guys.
Good.
Pretty good, man. Pretty
My
good.
nose hurts.
Good to hear.
What's your nose? Hold on, James. What happened to your nose?
I fell on it in the shower.
Are you
forgot to
serious
put your
right now?
hands out?
No, I was stepping in. And I just hit the wall.
Least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm happy you're okay.
Thank you.
I'm very happy. Is the wall all right, too?
It's a number 5 fear to die in the shower.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of bads have died in the shower.
Lucky you didn't crack the tile with that head of yours.
Or go
Strong
through the
head.
wall and find that guy that shot himself.
Oh, yeah.
For those that don't know, their neighbor shot. James in Indiana. Sorry about that. That really went off on a different tangent.
Oh, you're fine.
All right.
I wanted to talk to you real quick.
By the way, if you're in Indiana and you're near where they live,
Watch yourself.
a guy did shoot himself.
Be careful.
All right, James, what's up, man?
What are your thoughts on a team like the Dolphins using the NFL forfeit rule, which has never been used before, by the way?
Okay, so I don't know if you're trolling me like this is a
No, I'm for real. If a team forfeits, the winning team only gets a 2-0 victory, and it actually negatively affects them in the strength of schedule. Which, if the team like the Dolphins, which play the Pats the last week in the season,
wanted to help
are
out
in the
everybody.
race for the suck fest, it would help them get a better draft pick and kind of hurt the Patriots pull Bill Belichick rule usage on Bill Belichick himself.
James, I feel like you're lying right to my face.
Patriots are going to be fine. It doesn't hurt
NFL would
them.
never let that happen.
No,
Ever.
but what if this is a real rule, said rule, say
This
this
is
is
a
an
real
actual rule, why wouldn't the Dolphins do that the entire year? If you're actually trying to tank,
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
that's what happens. You get Ryan Fitzpatrick on there. He William Wallace's the boys in the locker room. You start winning again. All of a sudden, you're going to be 4-12. 4-12. Now you're not even going to be able to get first pick because the Bengals. I think. By the way, I think the Bengals should be the ones that use this over anybody.
Ticket sales.
Yeah, but tickets.
Or any team could do it, but it is a legitimate rule.
Think about when they
2-0
wrote that
victory
rule.
for the win.
If that's a real rule, think about. Hey, James, thank you so much for the knowledge there. By the way, I feel like I just learned something. Think about when they wrote that. Some team was so bad, they were like, "We don't even have 11 guys. Is there any way we could just say no mas? We'll add a clause in here, forfeit rule. They win by 2. 2-0. We would have won by 50. Yeah, well, that doesn't happen.
It's like Ron couldn't get off the mill, so he couldn't make it to the game. So they didn't have enough guys.
I'm trying to get in an over 30 soccer league, by the way. I think that type of thing happens in a lot
all
of
the
those
time.
leagues.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Mark in Buffalo. Mark, I'm sure you're feeling great about yesterday.
And we're the Bills, and I can't wait to rub this in his face. He's been telling us this for over 10 years about Dallas. Now it's the Bills. Buffalo all the way this time. 3 times. The 3rd time is a charm. Dallas is going down, Gary. Only Buffalo is going to win it. Dallas is going down.
False connection.
Mark in Buffalo, an electric individual. How did he have so many people around him at this time of day?
Still partying.
Who's
that
Gary?
way.
Still partying. Let's go to Jarrett in Green Bay. What up, Jarrett? 2 T's, by the way, I believe.
Nope, just one.
Oh, Gumpy.
Gumpy.
He's from in Canada. In Canada, they use 2 T's. What up, dude?
How's it going, guys? I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thanks, man. You too. We got nothing but time, by the way. Just
I know
take
you're
your
a
time.
big Gophers guy.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to go about stopping Jonathan Taylor, something that only Ohio State's been able to do so far?
Well, they're going to sky you ma and row the boat, dude.
That was easy.
What a stupid question.
What do you think's going to happen?
Come on, Jarrett. You know the answer to that, dude. It's a necktie mentality, bro. Great white shark, never full, always hungry, wanting the hunt out there. Okay? Row the boat, sky you ma. Go Gophers. I don't know, by the way. I am intrigued to see how that happens. I know it's going to be very chilly, by the way, which is can potentially slow down a running back, especially if there's snow. But I can also slow down your D line. Nathan in football doesn't have a location. Thank you, Gumpy. What up, Nathan? Nate Doggone.
Doesn't have a voice.
Jordan in Winnipeg. Last one. We got like 10 seconds. What's going on, boss?
Yo, 10 seconds, cuzzy. What's good? Hey, happy Thanksgiving from Canada to you American beauties. Just want to know, what do you like better, commentating college football or wrestling or NFL?
Ooh, great question, Jordan. I appreciate that. I enjoy the stuff that I know a little bit about. The preparation has been something that has not been my strong suit with the college games. If I knew more about the teams that were playing, I think I would enjoy it all. But I'll tell you what, I take some vitamins and just talk about what's happening in front of me. I enjoy and I have a great time doing all of it. It's been a great Friday here. We've had a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be in Minnesota tomorrow. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Hey, Pete, thanks.